also, we have that tool set giveaway going on, that Craftsman tool set. When I hit 500 subscribers, we are going to give away the Craftsman tool set. We'll do a drawing after I hit 500 subscribers, and that winner will get a 300 piece, I do believe, Craftsman tool set for supporting the channel. It's my way of showing thank you to you all for helping me build this channel. So I'm Russell. Welcome to Russell's Garage. Hey guys, welcome back to Russell's Garage. So the other day, I took the dash out of the Rambler, and when I did that, there was a rat's nest all behind there, and I found a bunch of the wires were chewed by mice, and I had already planned on putting a new wire harness in this car, and I pulled the cluster out of the dash here, and before I go on to seeing if I got to get new gauges, I wanted to verify and see if any of this stuff worked. And it comes apart fairly easy. There's 5 or 6 screws on the back. You undo the nuts for the fuel and temperature gauge, and the nut on the speedometer thing, speedometer odometer here, and you pull this out, and this will work. The needle moves. So I know it's gonna be okay as long as the transmission cable's fine. And I'm not sure if this car has 40,000 miles on it or 140,000 miles on it. With some of the things that I looked into for wear to see if it had 140, I don't think it has 140 on it. I'm gonna say maybe it's pretty much got 40,000 miles on it. The guy who originally owned this car loved this car. He was the one that took it apart to repaint it, and he had owned it for many, many years. I believe the title said 97 is when it came to Florida, and the car originated out of Indiana. And I think what happened is when he took it apart, it became beyond his skill level, and that's why the car sat. And it sat in not the greatest conditions for a car that the windshield was taken out of and the back window was taken out of. And I just think he got above his head. I mean, not above his head, but above his skill level that he was comfortable with, and lost interest in the car and couldn't finish it. So that's what we're going to do with this car. We're going to finish it. We're going to get it back up to functioning and on the road. And as you've seen over the videos, I've been in the process of it. Last video, we got it all into epoxy primer to get the bodywork all straightened out. And we're going to be doing a video on some of that and how to smooth out the body panels and get it straight after all the metal work has actually been done for it. I've still got to figure out some front seats for the car. I'm working on that. Prices have gone up so much on things that I bought 2 new seats for the Model A, and those same seats, which are really nice seats, I like them, but they're almost $100 more a piece now just because of the way the cost of things have gone up. And I really want to do a black interior in the car. I'm going to have to use the rear seat, and the rear seat's not too bad, and I should be able to change the color of it, clean it up and change the color of it and put it back in the car. But the front seats of the car, they were left outside. They've deteriorated to the point where it doesn't make sense in trying to have them redone and what the cost would be to redo those seats. The car's not going to be worth a ton of money. They don't, I mean, $10,000, $12,000, maybe $15,000 is what you can get for one of these cars. And it's just, to put $2,500 into a seat to have it redone, it doesn't make sense when there's a good line of good, comfortable aftermarket seats out there that will work and look nice in the vehicle. But so I pulled this cluster apart because I'm going to clean it. I'm going to clean this all up, and I'm going to paint it and define all these numbers again. And That's if everything works. And we know the speedometer is going to work and function okay as long as the cable is okay. I mean, I can pick up a cable. They're not horrible. I think they're like $22 for a transmission speedometer cable for this car. And what we need to know are, does the fuel gauge function? So I'm going to show you how I test to make sure that this fuel gauge will work. And we have a temperature gauge. The temperature gauge is going to be tested the same way that you will the fuel gauge to see if it will work. So we're going to do that. And then also here's the printed circuit on the back that runs this cluster. And what we're going to do is we're going to test this printed circuit to see if it will function. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start cleaning some of this stuff up. I mean, this circuit board looks pretty rough. I'm hoping that it works. It doesn't look cracked. It doesn't look like it has any breaks in it. But we're going to test this stuff, and I'm going to show you the process of how you test it to know if it works. And also, I got something nice in the mail today. I looked on Speedway Motors the other day. How about this? This is for the Rambler, and they had a heck of a deal on it. When I rewired the Model A, I used a quick wire harness, and I really do like the quick wire harnesses. They are a little bit more pricey. They're not as much as painless. You get a quick wire harness, and this is what I like about them. You get this actual book with a quick wire harness, and it's all the makes that you have out there pretty much, because they're all pretty much wired, and all aftermarket wiring harnesses based on a GM wire harness anyways. But the reason I keep this book is it has a lot of knowledge and stuff to troubleshoot wiring systems in these old cars. And it does a step-by-step. It does step-by-step wiring of the cars and the circuits of how you wire up a wire harness in one of these cars. This is really good information. It's good information to keep in a shop, even after you've already installed the wire harness. Especially if you have a short or something and you need to trace it down, it goes through and it tells you what every wire, goes to, and pins and all that stuff that is just helpful to have when you have old cars around. And majority of these cars don't have fuse boxes in them, and if they do, they're very minimal. Back in the 60s and 50s and that, they used fuse links. And troubleshooting fuse links are a nightmare, pretty much. I mean, just about every line has a fuse link on them. They're a pain in the butt. It's so much better to have a fuse box in there. And when I did the wire harness in the 29, I bought just an 8-circuit wiring harness then, because I didn't think I was going to really run much in the car. And I'm probably going to have to change that wire harness because I want to put ventage air in the car and I want to do some other things. And that wire harness isn't going to support that unless I put junction wire harnesses in. And I don't really want to do that when I can buy, like I have here in this box, a 22-circuit wire harness for less than what I paid for that 8-circuit. So this is the wiring harness that I picked up from Speedway Motors. And this thing is a 22-circuit, and it has power windows, park lights, turn signals, hazards, radio. It even has CB. It's got cruise, power seats, lighter, clock, wiper, AC heat, gauges, power locks here, brake accessory, hazards, dash lights, fuel, and 2 extra accessories. There's a lot of circuits on this, and for the money, I paid like $200 and I don't know. Let's look at the receipt, what I actually paid for this. So $202 is what Speedway has this wire harness for right now on sale. Now I know that I looked at quick wire before I went on to Speedway because I was going to get a quick wire harness set because I do like them, and they do make good quality harnesses. I'm not sponsored by any of these. This is just stuff I've used in the past, and I'll recommend it to them whether they're sponsoring me or not because it's a good product. Now, I don't know much about this. The reviews are pretty good on it, but it's a complete wire harness with everything, fuse block, everything. You got to make a bracket for that. The only thing I don't like about this is the quick wire comes with a cover and a bracket already that you can screw. So there is a little fabricating more into this one, but it has a lot of the connectors on it that will connect into everything. And the quick wire comes with it, but I knew I was going to have to replace the headlight switch, and the dimmer switch fell apart in my hands when I was taking the deck. So this kit actually came with a brand new headlight switch with a billet knob, and also a new dimmer switch included in the cost of this. This was not extra. And then this is another harness. This is all under the hood and charging system. That's under the engine bay. So you get that in here. You get all these connectors, all the fuses, and all the harness connectors that you need to plug it into the steering wheels and everything. And like I said, all these aftermarket harnesses are built on a GM wiring platform. And there's some more little pins in here to build connectors and all that stuff. And then the 57 has the same type of brake switch that this car has, which is a pressure switch on the master cylinder. And those are good switches, but for the brake lights to work on the 57, and I never liked it, is you had to really apply a lot of pressure to get the brake lights to actually work. And I don't like the little plastic ones that well, because the Model A has one of those in there, and I'm going to try this one out that I seen that Speedway has. And if this works really well, I'll probably put one in the 29. But this one here, I'm going to open it. These are only $9 also. They're not ridiculously priced. So this one here, you mount by the pedal. So when you apply the brake, it's going to push on an arm and then release as the pedal comes up, and you hook your brake wires in here just like they plug onto the bottom of a pressure switch. And I like the fact of this because as soon as I gradually start to apply pressure to the brakes, I'm going to have brake lights on the 57. It's always made me nervous about that, because if I don't really push hard on those brakes, then I'm not getting brake lights. And four-wheel drum brakes is not something you want to really jam on. It's not like with disc brakes. So I'm going to try this out, and I'm going to let you guys know about how these work, because I think they're pretty cool, and I've never seen these before. And like I said, they're only like $9. So I picked up two. So what I want to do first here is I want to go ahead and I want to test this circuit to verify that I'm getting that I'll be able to transfer power from the pins to the light and to all these circuits. So what you want to do is you want to get you a multimeter, and you want to put it on ohms, because ohms is what will tell you if you can conduct current from one location to another without having a break. It's checking for continuity through the circuit. And if you get continuity through the circuit, then you can definitely pass current to the circuit. I'm hoping you guys can see that. But I'm going to follow the printed circuit here, and we're going to go right here to this light. And I'm going to put a feed here, and I'm going to touch here, and let's see if we get a number. So we're getting a number. So that's telling me that circuit from this pin where, so that's telling me that from this pin here to this contact point where this light bulb is, we are getting continuity through that printed circuit. So that's not broke, so it will apply power when I wire in for this to work. So that's a good sign there, because I was kind of worried about this, because I don't want to put aftermarket gauges in if I don't have to. I'm trying to keep with as much original stuff as possible. The original stuff has character, and you know, anyone can go buy a set of gauges, but I mean, how cool is this speedometer? You got a 65 Rambler here with a straight 6, and the speedometer goes 12, which is 120. They didn't add the zeros, they just counted 1 to 12. Now I remember I had a 77 Pinto, and that 77 Pinto's gauge went to 85. I had an 86 Escort back in the day. It only read 85. Here we got a 65 straight 6 Rambler, and it has a 120 mile an hour speedometer in it. That's crazy. My Challenger out there only has 120 mile an hour speedometer in it. So that's kind of cool. And it just has a nice retro, style to it that, you just can't duplicate in modern gauges. And if it'll work, it will work, and we're going to use it. So here we have is the gauge. This is the temperature gauge. And like I said, I'm going to clean all these up and polish them up and make them look like they're not been sitting out in the weather for like 20 some years. But what I have here is I have a power probe, and in this power probe I have it connected to my booster pack over there, giving my 12 volts. And what I want to do is I want to take the ground clip here that I have for the power probe, and I'm going to click it to this pin. And I'm going to apply power to this pin, and if this gauge will work, that needle should move. And look at that. So our gauge moves. So that means that that gauge should function properly once it's wired back into the car, which is awesome. Let's set that over there. So here's the fuel gauge. Same process as we just did the temperature gauge. So let's see if this fuel gauge is going to work. Look at that. Now, that's awesome because, like I said, this car was left to the elements without the windshield or the rear glass put in it to just get rained on over the years. And I mean, if you look at the dash, it's pretty rough, and it's going to take some body work. The good thing it's a steel dash, and we're gonna make that dash look mint, So now that we know that this stuff is going to work and function properly, I'm going to start the process of cleaning this stuff up, which is going to be another video because I got to find something that is big enough but not too big. I'm going to soak this metal bracket here in vinegar to get all this rust off of here, and then I'm gonna paint this so it's nice and reconditioned. There's no point in not doing it right if you're at this point and you're doing it. And I'm going to go get some contact cleaner that I thought I had here, and I'm going to start cleaning up this printed circuit. These light bulbs, I'm probably going to change these light bulbs. I mean, they're fairly simple, common light bulbs that you can buy still today. They're nothing special. They still use them in a lot of vehicles. So we're going to change those light bulbs here. And the metal bezel here, I'm going to clean up, which is actually metal. It's not plastic like you see nowadays in a car. And I should be able to polish this up and get the grime off of it. And the same here with this plastic bezel, which I'm kind of disappointed. There's a couple cracks in it, but 50 years old, you get cracks in you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean all this up really good and get it shined up, and she should be a nice looking cluster when she's done. So that's what we're going to be doing with this. And I'm going to disconnect this power probe to not drain my booster pack anymore. This here is the power switch that came out, and you can see where the mice and the rats and all that, as it was out there, squirrels probably chewed these wires. So that's why I cut them off long. And this switch is not the greatest. And that kit came with a brand new headlight switch, which is awesome. And like I said, the dimmer switch down there literally disintegrated in my hand when I touched it. So here is the dash. And as you can see on the inside, I've cleaned a lot of it out, but I mean, you can see the mice and all that stuff that was in here. And we got this old speaker in here. We're probably gonna, don't even look like it's mounted in there, but it's gonna come out. And I gotta take this ductwork off of here because I'm going to go ahead and probably sandblast this whole dash. And this is a cigarette lighter that will probably change. And I'm going to sandblast this dash, and we're going to get it all cleaned up so it can get painted and look factory brand new. Here's the Rambler with all her tape off of her and the plastic. And as you can see, the car looks a lot better. It's far from perfect. There's a lot of imperfections and stuff that I'm going to have to smooth out on this car. And it's going to take time, but she's had a rough life with all the signs of accidents that it might have been in, a bunch of little fender benders. And she's looking good though. And it's another step in the right direction of getting this car done and getting it on the road. See, right here is the rat's nest wire harness. This is all going to come out. It's a nightmare, and it's going to be completely new. Speedometer cable, you know, the rinky-dink brake switch that somebody added sometime down the line. The steering column, all this is going to get painted. It's all going to be freshened up and nice. I'm not going to re-chrome stuff. I am going to clean it up with the best I can with 4-aught steel wool. And we're going to try to polish it up the best we can. And like I said, patina is great, and it will look really good along with the nice paint job that the car is going to have. I am still looking for this weather stripping for the vent windows. I haven't found any. I think I found one set, and I'm not sure because of how they have it listed, but they want a godly insane amount for them, and I just can't see paying that much per window. I think it's like $500 for the seal per window, so we're going to have to address that because it is brittle, and I don't want to. I got new window seals for the glass going in. I don't want to put new seals and not put some, so we're going to have to address that down the line and figure out what we're going to do for that. And I'm still trying to figure out rims and tires for the car. I can't go in. I bought a set of tires that I thought would work because they take the Mustang bolt pattern, the 5 on 4.5, but they were too wide. And I mean, I picked them up for $100. I was just taking a gamble on it. But I'm trying to think maybe some old torque thrusts on it maybe, or try to find some Krager SS's. But the biggest thing is I can't go any bigger than a 7-inch wide rim. And a lot of modern rims, they're a lot wider than 7, and I need to get the right offset, and I need at least an 85 millimeter center bore to go over the hub. And so we're still searching for that, but it is going to get a nice set of rims on it, unless you guys like the beauty ring and the center cap. Those are the original beauty ring center cap. I kind of like that. I can pick up another 14-inch rim. I have another beauty ring and a center cap should I find a 14-inch rim that matches this car. And we can just go ahead and put the 14s on it and do the center cap and beauty rings on it. So if you leave a comment down what you think would look better, a set of rims on it, or go with how it came. Center caps and beauty rings and some white walls, and we'll go that route. But it's going to be a very nice car when it's done. I'm looking forward to getting it done. I'm hoping to still have it done in my 90-day mark. I don't know if I'm going to get there. My work schedule at work's getting a little hectic. We got the holidays coming up. That means more working that we have to work. And I'm going to be busting my butt on it to try to get her done. The sooner I can get this done, I can get back on the 29. We get the 29 done. The El Camino will come in, and the El Camino is going to be a long build. Not that it needs a ton. It runs and drives, but I'm going to have to put control arm bushings on it, so I'm going to just go ahead and do all new suspension on it. The previous owner had a posi rear end installed in it, and they evidently didn't do something right with it. It clicks and it bangs. Not all the time, but when you're driving, it'll all of a sudden click and bang. So I got to figure out what that needs and what that's going to take to fix, whether I put a new posi rear end in it. And that motor, it runs perfectly. I can go out there right now, and I hadn't started in a week, and tap that key, and that thing's going to fire right up. So it needs all new brakes all the way around. Well, it's going to get all new brakes whether it needs it or not. I know the rear brakes aren't working because he took the rear end out, and they're just pinched off. And then there's body work we're going to do on the car. We're going to get all the body work done on that car. It's perfect. That car's, if I have to buy patch panels, I'm going to put patch panels on it. I can buy the stuff for that car to put the patch panels on it, so I don't have to spend the extra time to make a panel if I don't have to. And we got some gauges we need to figure out working and what we're going to do. The good thing is I can get a ton of parts for that car. National Parts Depot, they all have tons of parts for that El Camino. I do want to find the original 64 hood for that car. I don't like that fiberglass hood, but that motor is solid, the transmission's solid in it, and that is a good running driving car. So that's going to be another fun build. Well, that's all I got for you guys today on the channel, and I'll have another video up shortly. Probably we're going to get into sanding this and start smoothing and straightening the lines out on this car, because again, in the world of painting a car black, black don't lie. And the most important thing in painting a black car is the body work. If the body work is not right, I don't care how good of a painter you are in this world, a black paint job will look like crap if you do not do the body correctly. The body work in any paint job, whether it's black or any color, the body work is the most important part of a paint job. It's not the paint, it's everything underneath that paint. So that's what the time is, and we're going to get started on that very shortly. So I want to appreciate you guys for tuning into the channel, and hope you're getting a lot of stuff out of the channel and you're enjoying the channel. And leave some comments of like what you want to see on the channel. You know, this is new to me. I enjoy doing these videos. I want to get better at doing these videos for you guys. So let me know what you think, what I should do, and you know, we'll work it in, and we'll continue to get better and put out better videos and content for you guys. So remember, like, share, subscribe, and also we have that tool set giveaway going on, that Craftsman tool set. When I hit 500 subscribers, we are going to give away the Craftsman tool set. We'll do a drawing after I hit 500 subscribers, and that winner will get a 300-piece, I do believe, Craftsman tool set for supporting the channel. It's my way of showing thank you to you all for helping me build this channel. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.